This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. 9 more people were arrested in connection with the mass unrest that erupted in Yerevan on November 10, 2020, following the announcement of the ceasefire agreement that ended the Second Nagorno-Karabakh War. Armenia's investigative committee announced the arrest yesterday, citing new evidence uncovered during the ongoing criminal investigation. According to the statement, the suspects were part of the group that broke through a security perimeter outside the government building in Yerevan after news of the Moscow-brokered ceasefire between Armenia and Azerbaijan, entailing significant territorial concessions in Karabakh, was made public. Once inside, they ransacked offices, smashing doors and windows and causing extensive damage. All 9 individuals are facing criminal prosecution for participating in mass disturbances. Authorities said the suspects have been identified and taken into custody. The arrest followed last week's sentencing of Ara Badoyan, who was convicted in a related case and sentenced to 3.5 years in prison for beating up Ararat Mirzoyan, the parliamentary speaker at the time. Badoyan was found guilty of using violence against an official during the same unrest, although he was initially charged with attempted murder of a government official. Given the time he spent in a pre-trial detention, he will serve a little less than 2 years in prison. Azerbaijan is attempting to revoke the United Nations consultative status of Christian Solidarity International, a human rights group advocating for the rights of Armenians from Nagorno-Karabakh. The Armenian Revolutionary Federation's Armenian Cause Office reported today that Baku filed a formal complaint to the UN NGO committee accusing CSI of hostile political activity. Baku's targeting of the CSI is likely due to the NGO's role in efforts aimed at holding an international conference on Karabakh refugees in Switzerland, a move recently validated by the Swiss parliament, but opposed by the country's foreign ministry that fears the event could threaten relations with Azerbaijan. CSI has consistently raised concerns over Azerbaijan's ethnic cleansing of Armenians and has organized events at the UN on the right of return and the release of Armenian detainees. The Armenian government approved a controversial new bill yesterday that would allow young men to complete their mandatory military service in significantly shorter periods if they pay a substantial fee. The plan, introduced by ruling party lawmaker Haik Sargsyan and approved today by the cabinet, aims to reform the country's military conscription system. Defense Minister Suren Papikan explained that the proposal includes both technical updates and significant policy changes. Under the new plan, men can serve just 1 month in the military by paying 24 million drams, or roughly $60,000. A 4-month term would cost 18 million drams, around $47,000. The government will decide how many short-term service slots are available for each draft cycle. The bill also raises the maximum age of mandatory service from 27 to 32, and introduces a new legal obligation for boys under 16. Families would owe 15 million drams, currently $40,000, in public and legal responsibilities to the state, should they opt for surrendering the boy's citizenship in order for him to avoid conscription. Papikan emphasized that the bill's purpose is to strengthen the armed forces. Even 1 month of service, he said, ensures that a young man receives weapons training and can be called into the reserves. The proposal now heads to the National Assembly for final approval. It has sparked criticism for potentially deepening inequality in access to national service, since only the wealthy will afford the service reduction. You can also read our article on the uncertain plans by France and Russia to open diplomatic offices in Armenia's Sunik province. Both countries announced consulates, France in Gorius, Russia in Kapan, but so far neither has followed through. The French embassy now says it will open a smaller consular agency, while Moscow is still waiting for Armenia's formal approval. Their delayed or scaled-back presence comes as Sunik remains at the center of regional tensions, with Azerbaijan's eyeing a corridor. Our piece looks at what's behind the hesitation and what it means for Armenia. Read it by following the link below. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 61,301. That's the number of students graduating from schools across Armenia today. The day is traditionally marked by large-scale celebrations, drawing increased police presence due to concerns over underage drinking and reckless driving. Nonetheless, it remains a special occasion, one that marks the end of spring, the beginning of summer, and a symbolic passage into adulthood for thousands of young people. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.